You switching from your when did you start preparing for college?
Uh, Preparing for college mentally, I started preparing in elementary school.
Okay.
My mom went to Tuskegee, so that from my mom going to Tuskegee, her being born here, because her mother and her father went here, and then my always had the background of Tuskegee in my life because my great uncle and my grandfather, they came here and they were second generation Tuskegee Airmen.
Looking back on your younger days as a child, do you think because your family went to college, went to HBCU, do you feel that gave you a foundation of always knowing that you would go to college and be, have a chance to be successful in life?
Absolutely. They created the fantasized version of college, so it's like when anybody tell you this, but it's hard, you always, me being who I am, I like challenges. So it's like, of course, but I didn't look at it as a challenge. I looked at it as a strict opportunity. And being that it was always HBCUs, I fell in love with that idea. Even being in a diverse place like California, being black is like, that's still the pop culture in California, regardless. So I was like, ain't no HBCUs in California. I'm playing football. Fresno State wanted me to talk to them. Sacramento State, Azusa Pacific. I just didn't really want to do it. Being that I had a chronic issue with my shoulder dislocating, I was kind of just thinking in that architecture mindset after a while. Started really being more realistic with myself and longevity of what I'm gonna be doing with my life. So I was like, let me apply these HBCUs, and Tuskegee was one of the first ones. I was trying to go and set a new lineage somewhere else, but then I ended up back here. I never regret it. At first, I kind of did when I got here, but now I'm like, nah, it's really a beautiful city. It's a lot of stuff going on here that people don't know about. A lot of things that could happen because it's an open canvas for business and opportunity.
When you got accepted, how did your family react?
Oh, my mom was ecstatic because she's on the board of Tuskegee alumni in the Bay Area. So. We were at the Black College Expo at the Marriott Hotel in Oakland, and thousands of black kids and everybody else that was there that wasn't black trying to apply. They're accepting people on the spot. 2.0 was dang near the bare minimum. And with me, I was never the best student. I was always just eligible for football. I was always doing my work basically, but I was doing enough just to get by a lot of the time. Wasn't pushing myself, but I had like 2.5, 2.6 accumulative. And they accepted me on the spot. Like anybody else, gave me a $5,000 scholarship. I had another private scholarship from a Brotherhood Foundation. So I was happy. They were ecstatic. They knew that I was going to basically not just come here and just lollygag a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? Because I always talked about being serious about it. Football was the gateway, and then after getting through that door, it just exposed me to more education and just what Tuskegee was about.
Okay, so that happens. You choose Tuskegee. That transition from bigger city to straight, I'm in the dirty South, rural South.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It was a culture shock. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was coming around here. I took it all the time. Like I go back home, I say, man, Tuskegee sometimes like Radiator Springs, especially on the weekend. On the weekend on the holidays. Yeah. A lot of the time, there's nothing really going on like that, and It took a minute to get adjusted to, but honestly, I had my sister down here because she had just graduated the year before. Okay. And both of my sisters went here, and I had been here a number of times. 6th grade, dropping my older sister off, and 9th grade coming down here for both of my sisters' homecoming. Okay. Yeah. So it was not too much to adjust to. Honestly, I was in love with the culture down here, with the food, one. And then two, with the attitude of most people down here, just in general, because I find that being in California, a lot of the diversity can mix signals of a focus. You start to turn on people that look like you. In Alabama, the biggest population is Tuskegee, 96% black. So you see it as a common goal when it's not too much diversity in the whole state, and the rest of it's primarily white. So you can see the difference in respect. You can see the difference in the way the respect level in not only just different ethnicities, but elders. Like going back to California, it's the elders being respected is a thing, but it's very, very small in comparison to the South. To be honest, because you can hear it in the yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. I had to get adjusted to that because I was just like, yeah. For sure, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, absolutely. I'm just responding like that. And some people really did find offense to that. Yeah. And even opening the door and holding for people. People like, here, thank you. Go back to California, you might get a thank you. You know what I'm saying? Holding the door. It's like they just walking through because everybody on that fast pace. I got to get my life together. Got to get my money. Got to get my groceries, this and that. So, yeah.
All right. So you got here freshman year. How was your financial, personal situation? Like going out, eating, clothing, dating, stuff like that. Or I just want to buy a video game tomorrow.
See, all of that, as soon as I got here, I was selling snacks. That was my plan. I went from selling snacks to selling haircuts. But snacks was like, that's going to keep money in my pocket, just a little bit, gas in my car, that. My sister gave me her car. I was blessed with certain resources. My sister, she had an apartment, things like that. I was able to wash for free at times and things. So getting around wasn't the hardest. I completely forgot. I got 4 cousins that went here. So my mind was not uncomfortable like most people from coming from out of state. Because one thing about Tuskegee is I think California within itself was, I want to say, in top 5 of out of state students on Tuskegee campus. So California Club they embracing you regardless. Just like, oh, you from the Bay? Oh, that's still California. Come on, because LA really they the biggest ones. So I mean, it was easier to adjust, even with financial situations. If I would have been in that situation, I would have got a lot of help because the California people, we stay really close together, close knit a lot of the times. So yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. And I was honestly, a lot of the time, my time was taken up by architecture and football. So a lot of my social life was cut short. Okay.
So when you moved from snacks to haircut, how did that happen? What was the mind state when you went from one to the other?
I had stopped playing football freshman year because I had suffered my 4th concussion. Okay. And I knew it, I had 1 high school, 1 junior year, 1 senior year, and I got here. You know that feeling when it come back, everything brand new after you get up off the ground or after you get hit. You don't know really where you at the moment, but it come back slower, sometimes faster, but everything's brand new. That's the best way I can describe it. So after that, I kind of just started thinking, I gotta get my name right. I gotta be out in this field. I gotta be booming. I gotta do this. And then my shoulder just kept popping out loosely. And Coach Bronson, he told me, I asked him, how can I get my shoulder right? What workouts? He said, surgery. That's it. And I was like, you're right. After I looked into breaks versus dislocations. And then over the summer, got the surgery, came back, and during the summer, my birthday, my dad got me some clippers. He made the first investment. And then I took some of my birthday money and went and got some liners. Did that and just started practicing on him, practicing on myself, messing myself up a couple times, of course. By the time I got back here, I was still selling snacks, and I ended up with no roommate both semesters my sophomore year. Okay. I had 2 roommates, but they kept leaving. They didn't want to stay. So I would just basically, I was basically cutting hair out my room, just trapping out my room that way with haircuts, because a bunch of people would just see me. I say, leave the door open. I'm cutting. That's how I market myself. And then I started using social media and things like that. Eventually, the snacks just kind of withered away because I started spending my money on that and just focused all my energy up to like 12 in the morning cutting hair, trying to perfect this craft.
Did you understand how different having a little business on campus compared to a regular student that is struggling financially? Yeah. And they don't have, it's hardly any work in Tuskegee unless you have a car to get to other cities.
Absolutely.
So did you have that mind state of understand I gotta get some type of money for myself, income?
Absolutely, and a lot of the time I like to stay busy. So it's like that was another thing. So I didn't really notice. I didn't really have a point to where I was so low financially, but there's definitely been times, like I definitely tell people, like, entrepreneurship is hectic. You'll be up one day and down tomorrow, and you don't know what's going on, because nobody cutting you a steady check. It's all based on yourself. So when I started getting around the hair cutting, I was cutting like $5 a head. At first it was free, and I increased to 10, and now I'm completely at 20, but the whole thing about it was just making sure that I'm charging what I'm worth. I'm making sure that I'm not overexerting myself as well. There was times grades would get in the way, class would get in the way, but that's not supposed to get in the way. That's what I'm here for. So I had to put that haircut on the back seat. But then when I do that, after moving off campus the next year after sophomore year, had to start cutting hair. I had to make a strict program and schedule about when I'm gonna cut hair, when I'm gonna do my work, when I'm gonna do this, in order to just maintain and survive. Okay. Cause your bills got bills, cars, car note, car insurance, things like that. And then that year is when I started understanding the focus of ownership, not just leasing the car, not just leasing a home. You know, meeting people that own homes, like Aaliyah and Jaslyn. Aaliyah basically put it the best, you know, talking about practicing ownership. She talked about that a lot, and you hear a lot of people talk about that on campus and things like that, but you don't really see it around Tuskegee, so I guess it just don't stay on a lot of people's mind, more so. So, but yeah, that's very important, because going back to your question about family structure, wasn't really taught that. So you're accustomed to just, you know, this is how I'm gonna get by, you know, and then you kind of live to vacation instead of just, you live to maintain, live to do that, live to vacation, instead of just really trying to progress and find the best way possible, trying to own everything, trying to be your own boss, you know?
Okay. Great.
Yeah.